a new segment. I call this Instagram News Up to the Minute. And a lot of discussion has been going along throughout, different organizations, throughout of, law enforcement, throughout legislation, and, talking about police reform. What does that actually look like? Well, I've been doing a little digging on our Instagram, and I've been pulling out a lot of different videos, and I'll let you guys see a few different things. But I want you to take a look at this Nigerian professor at Johns Hopkins University. She was interviewed. Her name is Dr. Wendy Osefo. I want y'all to take a look, and I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds to respond. Take a listen.
Then he takes the taser off of this police officer. So, as someone who has, as you say, a brother in the NYPD, how would you feel if your brother was in the middle of an arrest and was made vulnerable like that in that situation?
My brother has been in the middle of arrest, and my brother has never killed anyone. The facts are Black people are 2 times more likely to be killed by police officers. The facts are this police officer, after he shot this Black man in his back, he kicked him, and then he said, "I got him." Now, my question to you is, you're right. This individual may have escalated the situation, but we pay police officers to de-escalate situations. One person is paid, another person is not. If you cannot do your job, if you cannot de-escalate a situation, then you need to quit, because that is why we pay you, is to do your job. So that is my answer.
I know that's right. And that was Nigerian professor at Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Wendy Osefo. And this was on Fox News after the firing of Atlanta officer charged with murder in the shooting death of Rayshard Brooks. So, Classy Lady Sparkle, 30 seconds. What's your take?
My take is that people don't see what a lot of people didn't see the beginning of Rayshard Brooks when he was talking to police. He wanted to walk home. His car was parked. He was asleep. And the arrest came after they kept badgering him. And sadly to say, you can't even tell your brother to take off his clothes because they're going to say, "Oh, you're reaching for something." I don't even remember what the question is, but I just know this. I know that a man running with his back turned should not have been shot in the back by a police officer.
Period. Point blank in the story. Lauren Sizzle, 30 seconds. What's your take?
Well, I totally agree with her. I feel like if you cannot, like she said, police job is to de-escalate situations. They are trained to be able to de-escalate situations, but when it comes to them dealing with Black people, they seem to not or forget their training and not de-escalate the situation, or like them de-escalating the situation ends up in them killing the Black person. And that is why a lot of us are, and I know some Black people that are, the last thing they want to do is call the police. You're supposed to be a public servant. You're supposed to protect and serve. But when it comes to Black people, Black Americans, Black people in general, you cannot protect and serve us.
Can't protect and serve. Will peaceful protest get you this? And that's the question I want you to think about. Will peaceful protest get you this? And now is the time to really stand up and fight, the oppression. Take a listen.
I love you. Live filler check. So today I went to a peaceful protest. Keyword peaceful. We were all just standing, chanting, holding our signs, and the police were the only ones to get violent. They tear gassed us, and as we were all running away, I looked a cop in the eye, and he shot me in the face. Hence why we have this now. And honestly, I don't fucking get it. Like, we come out here to protest for our rights, which we shouldn't have to do. Why are we protesting for our rights? And the police are the only ones to get violent. Like, if y'all aren't paying attention yet, y'all need to start paying attention, because we need everyone to fucking fight this system.
There we go. And that was Afro Era. All right. Will peaceful protest get you this? That was the question that I asked you guys. Classy Lady Sparkle, 30 seconds. What's your response?
No, peaceful protest is what they want us to be very kumbaya, and that's not the way. When military soldiers are in training, they're trained to kill because they're supposed to go against our enemies. Why is it that our police officers are now basically being trained to kill? Most of the killings that our Black men have endured, or Black people, are through traffic stops. You're stopping me for a traffic violation, but I'm winding up dead. That doesn't make sense to me. So training needs to be done. And these racist people need to be, I don't know if they need to take police, a polygraph test and ask racial questions, but something needs to be done because the fear should not be the cause of death.
Lauren Sizzle, 30 seconds. What's your spin?
I feel like, people should be able to peacefully protest, but the police are the ones that are coming out, they're shooting people with those rubber bullets and tear gassing them. Even the media, you had the CNNs who have seen it and experienced it firsthand. So we're going out to peacefully protest, and then at the same time you have a president that is tweeting out negative things, law and order, and when the looting starts, the shooting starts. So for people who are already against peaceful protests, they're already against the reason that we're protesting. They're coming out and they are attacking those that are peacefully protesting. So at some point, I mean, it's all going to explode and you're going to have a race war, and
there you go. And you're absolutely right, I think. And we had this conversation before, and we'll go a little bit into that after we finish our Instagram moment up to the minute. Well, let's talk a little bit about, and this is a question I want you to think about. Do you really understand white privilege? Is that a question that we really need to explain? White friend protests. Check this out. I'm going to let you see it. The white friend protects Black teen from police brutality. And this is from our friends over at So Proud to Be Black. Take a look at this.
Bro, just chill, bro. Reggie, hey, don't resist. Reggie, don't resist.
Dude, I'm telling you right now.
Oh, hey, bro, what the fuck?
Bro, go get the fuck off me, bro. No, don't you fucking touch him. I'm getting no fuck. Get out of my face right now. Bro, don't fucking touch him.
Bro, don't touch him like that, bro. Come on. Reggie.
Yeah. So when you talk about understanding white privilege, remember I said something earlier in the show. Sometimes, having privilege isn't a bad thing. That could have turned out really different if the young man was white and that was a Black police officer.
Mm-hmm.
That might have turned out a little different. Or if it was a white police officer there and the kids who jumped in to try to stop were Black, that would have turned out a lot differently. So, the question for you, do we really understand white privilege? Is it a problem? Classy Lady Sparkle, what's your take?
Yeah, white privilege is a problem. White privilege is when you have a teacher who's allowing another young kid to pick on another kid. Let's just say a white kid pick on a Black kid because they feel like, they're not dressed the same way or they're getting free lunch and not bringing in their lunch. That teacher needs to address that. And I feel that's the same way with how police officers are treating when they see Black and brown kids, in situations like that. That officer was 10 times the height and weight of that kid, knowing the kid didn't have any type of weapons on him, but he grabbed him by the neck to take control, and his white friend stood up. His white friend said something. Maybe his son, he looked like his son or he looked like his father. But if you can look at that video, the white officer stopped doing what he was doing and manhandling the Black kid. So yeah, it definitely is a problem.
Sizzle, 30 seconds. What's your spin?
Like I totally understand white privilege, and I feel like those, like in this instance, had he not been there, it could have really gotten ugly. Had he have been another race, both of them could have been dead. You know what I mean? Like in 2019, the police killed 1,198 people. Black people were 23% of those killed, despite only being 13% of the population. So for those of you who are, you recognize that you have white privilege, you need to be using that to stand up for your Black friends. Like speaking out, whatever you can do, you need to be out there using your white privilege. And right about now, like we need it. We need it, because you see in this instance, like, had that white young man had not been there, he could have hurt or even killed that Black young boy.
That's right. And that's why it's important to understand and acknowledge that you have white privilege. You can use white privilege in a negative, or you use white privilege in a positive. And if you use it in a positive, we need you to join Super Friends or something like that. Understand we need you, support it, understand you have it, and support us. Our next clip, I want you to think about this. What we can do if we stand together. And this came from Powerful Black Stories on Instagram. Protesters in New Orleans swarm police van and successfully demand the release of a fellow protester. Unbelievable. The most incredible thing that you will ever watch. Take a look at this.
Talking about, bitch. Got my sister here for you. We here for you. I told you, I want to see your face. That's what the fuck. You wasn't going nowhere, sis. You wasn't going nowhere. We're walking with her. Let's go. Let's go. Let's walk with it.
There you go. Maybe it's a movement happening that we can't ignore. Sizzle, I'll start with you on this one. What's your take?
I feel like it's important that we need to be supporting one another, regardless of race right now, because until we can say Black Lives Matter, we can't say all lives matter. So we need to be out, especially those that are out there, you need to be supporting your brothers and sisters, regardless of race, if they're out there on the front lines fighting with you, just protecting them and supporting them. Because, I'm not sure what she did. If she was just there peacefully protesting and they arrested her for no reason, then they should have been there supporting and making sure nothing happened to her. And that's what we got to do, especially us as Black people. We got to be like our brother's keeper. That's what we need to be doing right now.
Okay. Up to you, Sizzle. Sparkle. I'll let
a house divided can't stand. When you got a whole lot of crumbs, when they're put together, you got a cookie. And just like Sizzle said, we got to stick together. I've seen the peaceful protesters, and I've seen them hit with rubber bullets and tear gas, and they weren't doing anything. I've seen it where the officers are just hitting them with their shields and then arresting them because they're telling them to move onto the sidewalk, but they didn't move fast enough. So not sure what the reason that she was placed in the cruiser, but I saw the unity. I saw the way that the love was embraced when they let her out. And that's exactly what I stand for. Just like Sizzle said, like, it's not even about color at this point. It's about standing together and what's right and wrong. And the way that Black lives are being treated is wrong.
And I feel like she probably did, not to cut you off, but she probably didn't do nothing if they let her out. Like if she had attacked a police officer or something like that, maybe, we didn't see the part that happened before then, but they let her out. So she probably wasn't doing nothing. That's just my own personal.
We can't hear you, see?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. So what I'll say is in the protest, sometimes it's just civil unrest. Nobody's doing anything. And if it's peaceful, oftentimes, the people are just a little upset and want to get you out the way. And so those people will put you in the back of a car to make sure that you can't be in the way. Point blank, right? And so that's one of the things. But what I did see in this video was the unity of the protesters, black, white, right? All getting together. That young lady gets out. Everybody hugged her. I heard men saying we wasn't going to leave you. I seen women hugging her saying that we got you and clearing a way for her to be protected. And so I think we may see a light at the end of the tunnel, which brings me to, the next clip. I want you to say, the babies are starting to acknowledge certain things. Tell me what you think. Take a look at this.
Oh my God, look at this.
Hey, the babies even know Black Lives Matter. Have the Black Lives Matters protest. The babies are saying Black Lives Matter. Of course, you have parents that doesn't look like us, right? That are saying that, we need to start reconditioning and reteaching the message. Even the babies get it. So what's your take? I'll start with you, Sizzle.
What I would say first and foremost is that train up a child the way they should go, and when they are older, they will not depart. And that's what, as white people, even as Black people, because we as parents, we shouldn't be teaching our children to hate. And one thing I saw when I was looking at the different clips and pictures of those I guess those that were attending the Trump rally in Tulsa, some of them had little babies there, and they were like only a few months old. And I just thought to myself about, what are they going to teach their children? What are these parents that are here at the Trump rally going to be teaching their children? And just looking at this video here, I just love to see how those kids were supporting the little girl, and they had her in the wagon. And that's what I want my white friends to do for me. Like, just supporting me and making me feel like my life matters, just making me feel important. So that's what I feel like we need to do, especially as white parents. Teach your kids as they're little, and when they grow up, they will not depart from that.
I agree, Sizzle. I did see the little brown baby. She was in the back of the wagon. And I agree. It takes me back to that documentary that Jane Elliott did about, brown-eyed and blue-eyed. And when the blue-eyed kids had to wear a collar, and that collar represented that they don't have accessibility to the things that the brown-eyed kids had. They are already labeled. Once you label a person, especially at a young age, they tend to start to act what they are considered. So with these collars that they had on, they took a test, and the blue-eyed kids that took the test scored lower because they were already labeled. But then when they reversed it and the brown-eyed kids had to put on the collar, the scores went up. So it does start early. It starts, from the time that you're small, because hate is taught. Hate is something that you have to teach someone to look at, to single out, and to show prejudice. So when you have when your child is that small, be the example. Hippies existed back in the day. They don't exist now as much as they did, but they were segregated because of their flowers and their burning their bras. They were looked upon as, how Black people, in a sense, kind of, not saying that they were treated like us, but they felt the segregation. So I definitely agree that you train them from the time they're small. Can't hear you, see?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's cutting my mic out. But I said this video makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So shout out to Shani Harris 1 from Instagram. And it's just one of those things on Instagram, up to the minute moment. But take a look. I just need to see this one more again.
Oh my God, look at this.
She can't even say it. She's like, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
So cute.
But that's
so cute.
That's using your privilege. That's using your privilege to show that you are in solidarity with a different group or a different constituents, a different demographic. That's showing your privilege, and that's how you are helping. You are showing these kids early that it's some type of difference there that you need to support. So that little white young lady, all the other little white young ladies and white little boys who are pulling a little wagon with the black little girl in it, they are being taught and trained that you are supposed to support this colored young girl. I don't know the reason why, but I know that if something's going on that I need to come together and support, because all I hear my mother saying right now is Black Lives Matter, right?
Right.
They can't articulate what this is all about right now, but what they can do is see differences. And so as their little mind is developing and growing, right, then they start to know and start to become critical thinkers and say, oh, I see. But I learned this early, right? I didn't learn hate black people, hate black people, hate black people. I learned Black Lives Matter, which is the reason why we have to reinforce the idea that Black Lives Matter, period.
Because it was enforced that it didn't.
That's the point. There you go. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That was my up to the minute Instagram minute. You like that one? All right.
I like it.
Yeah, I think that was recommended by Sizzle over there saying, let's do some more things. So shout out to her.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl Lauren Sizzle and Classy Lady Sparkle. And have you subscribed to our channel yet?
If the answer is no, you need to subscribe now.
Yeah, so stop what you're doing. Go right now and subscribe. We like you. You like us. So go ahead and subscribe.
Come on over. Be a part of the family of We Talk Weekly and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So what are you waiting for? Subscribe
now.